This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Mapper Forward's first on-demand workshop, How to Become a Coffee Consultant. Available now online for you to learn at your own pace with a certificate available upon completion. Click the link in the show notes to access today for just €50. Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro by Mapper Forward, friends. I'm your host, Lee Safar, and this is unfortunately our final episode in our 5-part series with Mohamad from Cypher. This has been such a delicious conversation, Mohamad. The time has flown by. And we're talking about responsible businesses and what it is to build them and why we build them. And you and I are very aligned with regards to the way that we approach business. Now we're going to have a bit of a salty conversation about, we will get to the Barista Mafia, but we'll talk about the tension that often exists between employers and employees, because it's a strange relationship, isn't it? Like they both need each other, but a lot of the time, everyone wants to be left alone to do what they want to do. And I feel like in the little time that I spent at Cypher, I see that there's this weird symbiosis that happens of mutual respect, where people are not stepping over each other. How did you achieve that?
I cut off heads if someone speaks badly about anyone behind their backs. So
Beautiful.
basically, I make it a point that when we do like team meetings, if you have something to say against one of your colleagues, say it right now, here, say it now.
In front of them.
You know what I mean? In front of them, because I hate that. I used to suffer from it in the corporate world, and you know, a lot of times in the corporate world, people who talk the talk convince the people who walk the walk to walk for them. And I don't want that. And I don't want any of this behavior within our organization, especially that we're a small type of business, and it's super important for us to stay stay cohesive. You know, it's very important to stay cohesive. But look, so again, I tell you, as I mentioned in one of the previous episodes, I've been through a lot of bad experiences. I've been, and it's funny because, you know, some people go through these experiences and they think that I went through it, so let them go through it. You know what I mean? I have a different mindset. I'm like, no, I went through these bad managerial experiences. And I'm grateful for that, by the way, Lee, just to let you know. Because these people taught me what not to do as a manager. You know what I mean? So I'm grateful for it, because otherwise, if I had only good experiences, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to say what I'm going to say right now, which is, you know, learn from the worst and try to basically fix that within your own organization. Like, so most of the things that we went through as a human being, what I went through as individually, I try to not apply at Cypher, and the formula until now works. But Lee, I have to mention something, is that, you know, when an organization, managing a 5-people organization is different than managing a 40-people organization.
100%.
Managing a 40-people organization, so challenges are gonna, you know, they're gonna start showing up. And these are growth-related challenges, you know, when it comes to bigger number of people. But I think, Lee, at the end of the day, everything trickles down. Everything.
Yeah.
You, as a human being, you're a reflection of the organization you're in. And trust me, what you see at Cypher, when you come to Cypher, is a reflection of us, the partners, the behavior of the partners. You know what I mean? So this is super important to mention. So we, and this is why it's music to my ears when some of the, you know, when we deliver coffee to people's homes and they tell me, look, your drivers are amazing, you know, they're smiling, and it's such a good reflection of your organization. It's for me, it's better than money, because at the end of the day, we are delivering an experience. It's not coffee. And that's why we extremely limit, for example, the third-party deliveries. We do our own deliveries, even if it's going to cost us more, but we want to control the experience.
Yeah. And I have to say, shout out to Citran, because when we dealt with him, He couldn't take care of us. There wasn't an amount that he could do for us that was too much. And
He's the
this
Sherpa.
He's the Sherpa. I love it. He was.
Yeah, he's the Sherpa.
Just wonderful. And it was a real testament to, you could see that he wasn't just doing it because he's a part of Cypher. He genuinely believes in what he's doing and why he's doing it. And he wants to deliver an exceptional experience for everybody. And that
100%.
for me was like, yes, I want to work with these people. I want to be aligned with a business that does this. And so
It means a lot.
Let's see how we make it work.
It means a lot when you say that.
The reason I want to recognize that is because I deal a lot with helping people build cultures in coffee businesses. And to see it in action is like a symphony that just sings. And it ends up being something where people take ownership for the quality of their work. They want to represent the values of the business, but they also want to represent the leaders. They want someone to be proud of them, and they want that continued recognition. For you, it's not that they need you to recognize them. It's just that I want to keep doing better. I want to keep growing. I want to keep moving forward. That comes from leadership, Mohamad. And that's a real testament to what you're creating and what you will build moving forward. Now, on the flip side of that, there are workplaces that we know about where there's a lot of tension. And we know that there's a culture here in the Emirates and across some other countries in the GCC where there's this Barista Mafia that exists. And now something like that comes from a culture that's not as healthy as what's going on at Cypher, right?
Yeah.
Tell me what you, in your words, because we recently had Ryan from Specialty Batch on the podcast.
Yeah, I read it. Amazing article.
Yeah, shout out to Ryan, because after he did that article, we invited him onto the podcast, and it was a fantastic conversation. And amazing
article. Very well said in a lot of things.
Yeah, really well said. Tell me what your thoughts are on the Barista Mafia.
So look, I want to highlight a couple of things. First, it's not only in this part of the world. To be honest with you, it happens all around the world. Whether you look at it, it's a corruption issue. No, wouldn't you think of it as a corruption issue? It is, and it's prevalent, in a lot of industries. But it's in this case, it's related to us, and it hurts, because we lost some clients because some businesses, they think it's okay to pay baristas. Furthermore, as Ryan said in his article, some owners of cafes, which is puzzling my head, accept that I'll pay very little, let the roaster pay him.
It's just a part of the business model.
What kind of an example are you setting for your own colleagues? How? What? But yes, it exists. Look, it exists in a lot of businesses. I know a lot of people in the construction business, for example, and they know that, for example, the project manager is getting paid a commission, and he lets him take the commission from the consultant. It's okay. He said, I know how much he's taking. Imagine, like, this is the school of thought, okay? Because it's gonna happen. People are gonna steal from you. Okay, we had incidents of people stealing from us, okay, from within the organization. So it can happen. It's going to happen there is leakage that happens within our organization. But when it's happening and you are not you're pro this type of behavior, this is a problem. This is an issue that needs to be, definitely looked at. The problem is that when this becomes, I have stories of some of my peers in the market, some roaster friends of mine, showing me messages by the head barista asking him in writing percentage. He wants a specific amount of dirhams per kilo, so he's not even afraid to if he shows his boss or something like that. So that goes to say,
bro, let me blow your mind. After we came and saw you the other day, we went to another meeting the next day, and there was a room filled with people. It was maybe 6 people came in to join the meeting. and they told us about some of the things that they had been asked for in return for sales.
Yeah.
One person asked for a car in writing. They said that's what the commission would be: buy me a car, a Datsun Sunny. And another person said, pay my rent for the next year.
So again, values. You know,
I mean,
what happened?
In writing on WhatsApp. What are we doing?
Look, I want to say something as well. In certain circumstances, like if let's say one of my staff promised one of the baristas to pay him, sometimes it's not a reflection of the owner. Maybe one rotten, person within an organization can cause an issue for an organization.
Right.
You know what I mean? But when your reputation precedes you, when people will call me and tell me, look, this guy tried to, it never happened to us, but I'm just saying, let's not judge as well the owners. Sometimes the owners are too busy doing multiple things, and you have that one person who want to achieve his targets, and he's willing to pay part of his commission, maybe the company commission that he gets with the barista. So let's highlight this point. Let's make it clear, because in some certain situations, really the owners wouldn't know, or management wouldn't know.
I hear you, but Habibi, a fucking car?
Yeah.
A car? Pay my rent
how many kilos of coffee do you have to sell for? Yeah.
I'm like, my heart dropped when he was like, I have text messages where they're openly requesting a car. What?
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, the way we, now, like the other day we were having a meeting about this, and my colleagues were telling me that, I'm like, look, guys, we were talking about this issue. I'm like, look, guys, the only thing we can do is to find ways to increase the value for our dear clients from our services, by providing more trainings, by providing full transparency and immaculate reports, by creating more products for them to create more money, and by directly communicating with the owners or with the management, and mentioning always that, look, there's a lot of this happening in the market. Be careful, be careful, be careful. If they choose to go with this,
then
you can't. What can I do, Lee? What can I do if as Ryan said, the boss is pro this behavior? I can't do anything about it. But I'm not going to pay.
It's a culture.
But Lee, also we need to highlight this is different than finder's fee. For example, if someone, because once someone mentioned to me, look, if I know someone, I'm a consultant for coffee, and I don't work for that specific company, but if I introduce you to a big consumer, would you pay me a finder's fee? I'm like, yeah, I have no problem with that. As long as you're not part of that organization. As a consultant, if you're going to provide a service for me, with introduction and supporting me with getting a big contract or anything of that sort, I don't mind. Yeah.
But that's not what this is. What this is the staff, like, to be clear, if anyone hasn't heard us talk about the Barista Mafia before on the podcast, your employees now work for your suppliers.
Yeah.
That's again, what it is.
Lee, what if the boss, like what Ryan mentioned again, is he's
okay
pro?
with it?
Look, what can you do?
Yeah, this is that's exactly right. He's not willing. And look, something I want to mention. In the US, what happens is that the cafe owners pay their staff less because they're counting on the customer to compensate wages through tipping.
Yeah.
And this is a dysfunctional business model as well, because now your staff work for your customers, they don't work for you. Your staff are going to conspire to the success and the happiness of your customers, which is fantastic, except when they start giving away free coffee, which costs you money. When they start giving away free food and going way above and beyond just so that they can get tipped more. It's not a fair economy for everyone, and it doesn't work for everybody. So the moment you start not looking after your staff, they're going to go look for love somewhere else.
100%. And we also need to highlight something, Lee, that we need to understand that this type of a job is cyclical. It's not even cyclical. It's the wrong word to use, but
there's a time limit.
Nobody wants. Yeah, there's a time limit on it as well. Like you have to not every barista is going to become a restaurant manager or a barista, or something. He might be doing this as a part-time thing. He might be doing it. So in the essence of it, us as business owners, we need to, separate emotions from it. When a guy decides to leave because there are better opportunities for them, growth potential opportunities, because you just are running a cafe, it's fine. It's okay. You should look for someone else and wish him the best and good luck, and that's it. That's the way I think of it, because I don't know, there is something in this part of the world that is different than Canada, where I worked as well. And there's the thing that a lot of business owners think that if I'm getting him a visa, I own him. You know what I mean? It's not that. But I also, there's a paradox here, because as a business owner, you spend honestly a lot of money and effort and time in growing. So I reached the conclusion is that, again, values. You treat people the way you want to be treated.
I agree.
And they let them take it. If they don't appreciate the way you're treating them, it's their loss. I'm never going to change the way how I treat people.
Yeah, beautiful. What a beautiful way to end this series. Thank you so much, Mohamad. Can you please tell people where they can find Cypher?
In Dubai?
Online.
Online. It's buycypher.com.
Yeah.
So bycypher.com.
Folks, do yourself a favor and go and look at the branding. I think it's one of, there's only one other brand that I put on the same level as Cypher, and it's Stitch Coffee. Go and take a look at the branding that they have for their workshops. It's super hip hop in the best way possible. It's really fantastic. Whoever you got to do your branding, bravo to them.
It's we sit down, we brainstorm together, and it's a group effort. Trust me, it's not an individual.
It's fantastic. It really is fantastic.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It means
so
a lot.
Much.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
I can't wait to come and have coffee with you again soon. Inshallah, it will be soon. Yeah, shukran kathir. So folks, join us for the next series and check the show notes for details on how you can follow Cypher. Mohamad, will you do me a favor and sign off this episode with peace, love, and peanut butter?
Peace, love, and peanut butter.
Have an amazing rest of your day, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Take care. Take care.
Thanks for tuning in, friends. There are 2 ways you can support this podcast. Firstly, become a paid member of our YouTube channel. Secondly, you can join our Patreon for as little as $3 a month. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video before you leave, and check the show notes for more information. Now, this is what you should check out next.